as we're kind of stripping back and really going back to our values, story does seem kind of more important than ever. And I know that you really love working with writers, and it's like one of your favorite parts of the process. And so I was just curious to get, your tips on just getting the most out of the writer-producer relationship. Leanne's been working with us a lot on really refining this. I was also really interested about how you shape projects in a really crowded environment, which I can imagine you have a lot of voices in your process at Lucasfilm. And then I was also interested in just getting your thoughts and tips on developing great characters.
Okay. You know, it's interesting. I'm a real stickler for point of view. And I don't think great movies get made by committee. So I never think it's a problem initially to have, you know, 5 or 6 people in a room trying to break story, kicking around ideas. But fairly quickly, I think it needs to come down to either a director that's developing with a writer or a producer working with a writer to create the screenplay. And I think if it's a producer versus a director, I think one of the most important things as a producer that people forget is to listen. Because if you don't listen and you do all the talking and you're trying to tell the writer what you want them to do, then I guarantee you're not going to get a script back that represents any singular point of view. Because they're either trying to service you or they're feeling like they're not telling the story that they wanted to tell. And at some point or another, the decision needs to be made. Whose point of view is it? And I'm a big believer in taking the time to find the writer that you respect and you believe in and really cater to their point of view and let them come back with the story. Granted, it can be influenced by the shape you give it, but let them tell the story, because eventually when a director comes on board, if the director didn't have anything to do with the development, they're going to need to make it their own. So that writer is going to end up having, provided you keep the same writer, which you try to, is that writer's going to have to go through another process, a writing process. And what you don't want to do is exhaust the writer so that the writer is trying to please lots of different points of view. And I feel that once you get into a process like that, if it's not managed well from a producing standpoint, then that is exactly the definition of development hell. And when people say, gee, there were all these really talented people, what happened? That's what happened, is that it just got diluted and diluted and diluted, and it lost its point of view.